Welcome to Fun is Fundamental. Fun is Fundamental is a podcast for those who realize that the enjoyment of life is about having something deep in our souls which lights our fire. It's for those who maybe have lost that fire and feel like they are missing out on the pleasures of life. In each episode, I will share recent fun activities and focus on why having fun is essential for good health. I'm your host, Alenia, and I invite you to take this journey with me and join the pleasure-seeking movement. Hi, welcome to Fun is Fundamental, and on this episode, I am interviewing Natalie Bedard, and also known as NatNat, and she is the founder of Lift OneSelf. She founded it in 2019, and she offers profound energy healing services. Despite grappling with life-threatening illness, which she talks about that and it's like, oh my goodness, and single parenthood to 3 boys, Natalie is a steadfast mentor on their journey of self-discovery and healing. With her profound understanding of the nervous system, she specializes in unraveling emotional blockages and reigniting intuitive connections. Natalie's trauma-competent approach is truly transformative. She guides individuals to embrace their fullest potential through small, actionable steps towards growth and transformation. It's about empowering people to navigate their healing journey with compassion, resilience, and a deep understanding of their unique experiences. Safety and radical honesty are the keys to unlocking the mystery. Seriously, this conversation just goes all over the place, and it's, definitely we talk about like energy, but we talk about so many other things. And the start of our conversation is about like climate change, and it just like really we go everywhere. And she has such a energy like that you just like trust her. And I definitely like felt so comfortable with her, and just really, I highly recommend this episode. It was one of my favorites to record because we really just talked, and I didn't have really an agenda of like where the conversation was going to go. And so it was really just freeing to be able just to have just have a conversation with her, with one of my guests. Often, obviously, there's a very, like, there's a clear, this is the subject that we're talking about kind of thing. But she really was like, I I want this just to go anywhere kind of thing. And I was just like, okay, cool. So I just really came into this without like any questions. So, but I think it is a great conversation. So I hope that you enjoy. I'm just like, I have to start recording. Otherwise we're gonna lose it all. But like these days, like there's so much like access to information that I feel like, obviously, like, yeah, we're not scientists, we're not, like we're not trained professionals or anything like that. But like we have access to so much information that people in the past didn't have access to, that like, I can't complain to be an expert in, weather and stuff like that, but it's not like I can't like kind of gather like some information and have like some ideas, and
Exactly.
I hate when people are like, oh, well, are you this? Are you that? Well, guess what? Even sometimes experts, you know, make mistakes. Like there's people that we've trusted with their knowledge that have led us astray, like,
Science is always a guessing game.
yeah.
If you're a parent, and if you have some, wisdom, to your numbers, then you'll know that we have been told as parent, lie the baby on their stomach, lie the baby on their back, lie the baby on their side. Oh, come back to lie the baby on their stomach, lie the baby. Like, so
Mm-hmm.
science is always trying to discover the best way with the limited knowledge that they have. Unfortunately, people have taken science as the all or nothing,
Mm-hmm.
forgetting that it's always discovery, and discovery doesn't have a final answer.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, like you have said, a lot of people have been astray to harm. So we have to acknowledge that. We have to acknowledge where power can really do a doozy of projecting fear. Like we may have an idea that in the idea of this, that I think is safety, I'm doing these kind of actions, yet not even realizing, well, your actions are actually unsafe and harmful. Yet, because you have this idea that, well, this is the end goal and this is going to be the almighty safety, I'm justifying these little actions, which, if you look at it, those little actions are going to create an even worse environment than you're in right now. And just
Hmm.
taking accountability of, you know, it's really uncomfortable to be an unknown in the uncertainty and not knowing, where is it going to go? And that's where you have to build your tools to not get so led astray with fear. Because once your body and your nervous system's activated with the four F's, it becomes really challenging to find any solutions. So you're looking to other people like, make me feel safe, make me look like like you'll give me the answers or give me some certainty. Yet once you can start, exploring your own biology, exploring your nervous system, and allowing critical thinking to come back online, I think that is really lacking a lot in individuals. And it's understandable. Like a lot of times, critical thinking was beaten out of us as a young child. Like, stop being curious, stop asking questions, stop, 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 stop.
Hmm.
And if you look at it, a lot of times they didn't know how to answer the questions. Like they're having to do things that, like, why?
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Well, yeah, when I was a teacher, I was like a preschool teacher and like kindergarten teacher for like 10 years.
Oh,
When I
I'm
was a
crazy.
teacher, like, sometimes those like kids that would ask why, like, would be like, oh, like, you're driving me crazy, but I also respect you so much, like, kind of thing, like, as a teacher. And like, I mean, like, there were definitely times when I'd just be like, like, you have questions and you're just like, adults don't have all the answers. I don't actually know, and like, I would like, tell them like, if I'm asking them to do something, like, like I'll be like, yeah, we're just gonna do a little bit practice, like trying to learn some letters. Like, I'll be like, you one day you want to read, right? We got to do a little bit of work to get there, that kind of thing. Like that kind of thing. It's like, I can tell you exactly why we're doing this right now. But like, yeah, with some things, it's just like, I can just be like, I'm sorry, I don't know. And I tried to be really open with like owning my mistakes, and like apologizing, like normalizing apologizing to other people. Like, I was wrong. I'm sorry, kind of thing. Um, you know, I
Do you know
feel
how
like,
much confidence it
uh,
takes to do that? Do you know how much confidence it takes to do that?
I mean, I guess, well, like, it's kind of funny
Take a
because it's
moment.
like in the
Take a
past,
moment.
it's like I was just apologizing for everything. But like once you like kind of like start like taking ownership for like where who you are, and like it's just like, yeah, I mean, I guess I didn't really think about that, like how much confidence it takes to apologize.
It is to stand in I don't know in a world that wants you to know everything.
Especially as a teacher.
Yeah. And it's like, I don't know yet. If we have this space, let's explore what answers can be.
Yeah.
Because, unfortunately, teachers have this stigma or persona put on them that they are the know-it-all. And if I let anybody know that I don't know certain things, then I won't have authority over them. Where it's
Mhm.
like, do you want authority or do you want respect?
Yeah.
Because a person can respect you a lot more when you say, I don't know, yet I'll go explore to find some answers for you.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's like, why don't I like show you how to be resourceful? Like, why don't I show you that like it's okay not to know, but like you could find out an answer if you want to. And like, and also just like being curious about the world and being like being a learner. Like I will always be a learner. I want to showcase that. I don't want to showcase like you learn until you're out of school and then you're done. And like it's like no, that's I don't think that's a healthy good life that I want my students to, move through the world like that. Like I'm like forever learn, you know?
Yeah, there's so much. There's so many, like I always remind myself, there's things that I don't know that I don't know. Like, there's things that you know that you don't know, yet there's another layer that there's like a space that you don't know this. And a lot of times we don't even go exploring there. We're just exploring a little bit to what we don't know. It's like even engage like the things that you don't know.
Mhm.
And I know that takes a depth of, being with imagination, being with curiosity, being with that critical thinking, which is a skill like that you have to develop. And like I said, a lot of people at a young age have been separated from that. So to come back into that feels like a threat in their biology. It's like, I'm not allowed to do these things because of what I was conditioned to believe about myself or about these skills. And when you can come back into that, it's like, okay, I think what's lacking in society is communication, like dialogue. And dialogue means we're not going to agree on all this stuff, but
Mhm.
can we explore and not try to beat each other with it or try to yell over each other? And that takes being able to harness your nervous system, because as soon as you feel that somebody has touched your belief system or going in an area that feels like danger, all of a sudden you get rigid and your voice starts to have a little bit more of a deepness, and certain emotions are coming out, or you can all of a sudden shut down and just,
Mhm.
I'm not going to say anything because why even bother? And how do I engage with this conflict? So it's like, it's two different sides. It's not one or the other. It's like, okay, how do I build these skills internally for myself? How do I engage in, you know, um, communicating in a way that I'll honor myself before I have to defend and justify to other people? And, so much in society, we try to look for that validation. We look for trying to be justified. We look for, like, just see me, I have an answer or I have something. Or we just don't even believe in ourselves because nobody's giving us that mentorship or that space to say, like, you have something to offer in this world.
Mhm.
The way that you think, the way that you express has value in the world. And that's the one thing that I'm bringing forth in the services that I provide to people is come back into yourself. Like, I understand everybody wants change in the world and, fighting, we're arguing and we're heartbroken. And if people are not heartbroken by the condition of the way the world is, I'm like, woo, I'm like, okay. Yet the change is only within. We have to change ourselves. And that is the most difficult, challenging, uncomfortable thing to do, is to face ourselves.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
like it's horrible at times. It's like disgusting and gross, and then you do some healing and you see yourself and you're like at a certain level and you're like, okay, I'm all good. I'm all good. I'm on my surfboard. I'm doing the waves, and then poof poof. Life hits you with something. It's like, what? There's more shadow work? Like there's more things about myself that I haven't seen, or I'm walking into an experience that I have no tools for because it's something new and I'm like all frazzled and don't know how to relate with myself.
Mhm.
And that's the main thing that I want to let people know, that there is no arrival. I get that, we've been lured into thinking there will be this arrival place. And that's where a lot of times when people hit their 30s and 40s, they're like, listen, I did everything on this checkbox that you asked me for. Where is my price? Like, I shouldn't need to do any more work. Like, what is this? And it's like it's changing the perception of what that inner work needs to look like. And I think one thing that's lacking is really understanding your biology. How is your nervous system shaped? What are the wounds that create these triggers and activation of fight, flight, freeze, or fawn? Like, and also, are you validating your emotions? Like the biggest theme in the past 3 days with clients and podcasts that I've been doing is people don't even know how to say, I'm scared. Not in a like intellectual way, in a deep feeling primal, like I'm feeling this fear and it feels like so overwhelming. The tears are coming up. And how do I navigate through that? Because most times when we tried to express that as a child, it was shut down.
Mhm.
We don't even know how to relate to that. And when I hold the space for people to feel that, then all of a sudden they go through the door of that fear and, oh, this is what's activating this that I didn't know how to articulate before. Yet that validating our emotions and really fear and, befriending anger and befriending rage to see, well, what's activating this? It's not just out of nowhere that it's activating. There's something that's activating this. So how are you engaging with it without berating yourself and belittling yourself? Which is warrior work because, there's not a lot of spaces that you can do that. Um, sure, you go to therapy and where I hear a lot of people say about therapy, like you peel the onion to get to the core. Whereas with my work, I'm bringing you right to the core.
Mhm.
We're not gonna it's like you have a space of non-judgment. You have a space to be able to recognize you have the capacity to navigate through this and find your solutions and just validate your emotions. That's what emotional intelligence is. It's like not doing a la carte, like, I like these emotions, but these ones, no, thank you. I don't want that. No, 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 no. I don't like the way it makes me feel helpless. I don't like the way it kind of takes over my behavior. I don't like the way it feels. I don't like the way I look, how I'm presented to others when I'm in this state, because I want to have possibly this kumbaya zen, everything is all together and everything's happy and gay. And it's like, oh, well, I'm living in the human realm and
Yeah. It's like, good luck with that. Guess what?
um, and it's allowing us to have that human side. And laughter is really important with this stuff. Like I get it's some heavy topics. I get that it has a reverence and to have respect, yet it doesn't mean that it has to be rigid and serious. Because the laughter allows you to release somatically some of these expressions and be able to engage with this energy, these emotions, and see yourself from a different perspective also. Because that's the whole thing is shifting your perception so that you can see yourself differently. Like say you make mistakes all the time and you're like, oh, I'm such a klutz, I'm so this, I'm so that. It's like, well, shift it and be like, well, yeah, I'm dropping things because I'm like running with all kinds of different things in my mind and I'm not really present or my balance is off sometimes. And like, let me just find some humor. Like, okay, it's okay to drop things and things fumble and everything else. Like, that's just the way you're navigating right now. But finding some laughter instead of this, language of inner critic of punishing you and berating you. Yet, that inner critic that gets really angry and harsh with you, it's still protection. It's your nervous system trying to protect you from feeling these emotions, which can be embarrassment. So many people cannot feel the emotion of embarrassment or disappointment, don't even know how to hold space for themselves for that.
Yeah. Well, I think like a lot of that probably is from how how people are raised, obviously. Like shame around if you do something wrong for sure. And like Yeah. And like, yeah, it's just it's been like a vicious cycle of like, you know, someone shamed and so then they do that to their children and like or by their teachers or things like that and then then they keep doing it and so like really like becoming aware of that and I think like realizing that it's not like your fault that you feel this way kind of thing. It's like there's nothing wrong with you that you feel this way because it's just like you were conditioned to.
You know, what I know about shame is that if you don't face it and validate it, it's going to have a house party and gather so many people in the house that you walk in and you're like, who told you to invite all these people? And that's that loop that you're talking about. Because you try to avoid shame, you try to avoid feeling it, and then it just gathers more. And it's like, oh, well, you're not going to validate me. I'm just going to keep having a party, a party, a party, a party, a party. And I get, people like to do bite sounds of, oh, shame is garbage. Don't feel shame. Don't do this. It's like, okay, well, how do I do that? Like, how do I meet this? Like, I can't just ignore it because it's there and it's a feeling. And it's like, okay, well, face it. What's it trying to tell you? And the more that you face and you hear the messages, the more that you can reprogram yourself that, like, that's not true. I get that that's what it felt like at the time, yet I'm here now for myself. I'm an adult now. I put in air brackets because
What does that even mean? Like,
then can this child and adult thing. Um, Yet it's like really facing our emotions and validating them and feeling them. Yet that's warrior work because there's a lot of habits that were created to avoid them and suppress them. And to break down those habits, that's where you need the laughter because it's like, oh gosh, here I go doing it again. What am I feeling? What is going on? Have a talk with yourself. I get that in society we've been led to believe that if you talk to yourself, there might be mentally something wrong with you. Yet many people that went to therapy, their therapist told you, who else is supposed to talk to you? You're with yourself all the time.
mhm,
You got to make sense of what's going on and be able to hold that space to validate yourself. But we've been lured to think other people are supposed to validate us and make sense of our world.
mhm,
And when I say this, it's not in a way, well, I got to do it all on my own. No, you find people that can hold a space that will allow you to feel your emotions and have you create some verbiage for yourself. They may give you some words that, oh, yeah, that's what it is. And then you can dig a little bit more of, oh, okay, this is what this is. And now I have some verbiage. So then you can make sense of it. So at first, you need someone there to be that like parent that you didn't have at a young age. And again, it's not faulting the parent because if you look at humans, you'll see they had their own experience and that's why they couldn't show up in the way that they did. Does it excuse or deny the harm that a lot of people went through in childhood, especially significant trauma or complex trauma? No, it doesn't. And I want to take a moment to say I see you. And it's a really horror story to navigate through all that in your nervous system and trying to make sense of things. Yet I'm also here to be a light to show you that you are this light you're looking for. You just haven't been taught that yet. You've been seeking on the outside rather than going internally to start making sense of your experience. We got pretty deep there.
yeah, definitely. I feel like that kind of leads us to like forgiveness, I guess.
Yeah.
I think I remember I used to work with like people with dementia, and I remember on Sundays we would do like a little like church service thing, and there's the what's the forgive those that trespass against us, like that sort of thing with the um what is it? I can't remember what it is. The king, like, what I don't know. Anyway, it like, talked about
Those
forgiveness
that
and
trespass against us, forgive those that trespass against us, for they see not what they do.
yeah. Well, and there was another part too, but I can't remember exactly. But one of the residents was just like, I don't believe in forgiveness kind of thing. And I was like, we just had an impromptu conversation. I was like, forgiveness isn't for the other person. Like people, I think, misunderstand what forgiveness is about. And like they were like, it's like I can never forgive because, and like, you know, how much you're wronged and stuff like that. And it's like, but that's not what that is about.
And that's what people have been led. And that's where the definition of forgiveness has had people continue to be in harmful relationships. Because you forgive, so that means you just have to stay connected with the person. It's like, no, not at all. That's where boundary work has to come in play. And boundary work is not for other people, it's for yourself. You have to hold the boundaries. I know it can be frustrating. Well, why can't people just get how to treat me? Well, you haven't taught them how to treat you because you don't even know how to treat yourself, what your needs are and what you require. That forgiveness part is, opening back up your heart. Because when you've been harmed, your heart closes up and it's like, oh, I'm not playing no more. Like, I am not going out there. I am not showing my vulnerability. I'm not putting myself in a position to be open because I've been harmed too many times. And that forgiveness is work to open back up your heart, to allow the vulnerability to come in and to trust yourself. A lot of times people aren't seeing that there's a part of you that you don't trust anymore because of these situations that happen, because you have a belief, well, I should have known better. Why didn't I see this before? Why didn't I? Why didn't I? Why didn't I? Where it's like, well, wait a minute. Are you allowing yourself to have some context? Because what, the mind likes to do is take the awareness and the knowledge that you have right now and go back to like 10 years ago, and you should have known that then. It's like, but I didn't have the same awareness, or I didn't. And when we blame on the outside, all that is avoiding to feel our emotions. It sucks to feel the pain that when someone hurt you, say someone betrayed you or someone physically harmed you or emotionally, psychologically. It sucks to have to relive and feel those emotions. Yeah, by blaming other people, you don't feel your emotions and it just builds up and builds up and builds up. And people think that once I feel the emotion, it'll be all gone. And it's like, no, that's not how it is to be human. It's not how it is with the nervous system. And so that's another part where, forgiveness has done a lot of damage to people, not really understanding it and thinking, oh yeah, just forgive the person. And it's like, no, there's some things that I think are unforgivable. I can have an understanding that you have a malignancy, and yet I got to give some space because it's pretty challenging to be in your atmosphere, knowing the things that you've done and the things that you possibly will do if you haven't really done that inner work to control that. Like to tell a parent, you know, that's their journey of if their child has been harmed. Do you want me to forgive the person that harmed my child? Like, it's really understanding, it's opening back up your heart to see the world in a loving way and not in a fearful way. Because the nervous system is built off of negative biases. And so when it's activated, everything looks negative. It's very difficult to see solutions or see beyond the fear. Did that make sense?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Can we talk a little bit more about the nervous system and I think so, like this is like a new people are talking about the nervous system more, but I think that there's probably still people that don't 100% understand like what is happening.
Talking about. Okay, so to talk about the nervous system means to engage with the nervous system. So are you willing to come into a guided meditation with me?
Sure. Yeah.
And for the listeners, I'm gonna ask Lelena. Did I say it properly?
Lalania.
Lelena, sorry.
That's
I'm gonna have us close our eyes. Yet a lot of times people are driving or doing something with their visual when listening to a podcast. So please don't close your eyes. I want you to stay safe as well as everybody else around you. Yet the other prompts you're able to do with whatever activity you're doing. So sorry if I butcher it again. Lelena?
yeah.
Okay. Please get comfortable in your seating and you're going to gently close your eyes. And you're going to begin breathing in and out through your nose. And you're going to bring your awareness to watching your breath go in and out through your nose. If that's too difficult, then breathe in through your nose and breathe out through your mouth. You're not going to try and control your breath. You're just going to bring your awareness to watching your breath go in and out. There may be some sensations or feelings coming up in the body. Let them come up. You're safe to feel. You're safe to let go. Surrender the need to control. Release the need to resist and just be. Be with your breath. Drop into your body. Still staying with your breath. There may be some thoughts or memories that are coming up in your mind. It's fine. Don't push them away. You're just going to bring your awareness back to watching your breath. Stay with your breath and observe, dropping deeper into your body and allowing those thoughts and memories to be further out. Just stay with your breath. There may be more sensations coming up, more feelings. Just keep with your breath while letting them come up. Your senses might be heightened. You might be hearing things a lot more clearer, smelling things, tasting things, feeling things. This is a space of acceptance, a space of surrender. Just stay with your breath. Keep your awareness on your breath. Keeping your awareness on your breath. Now, at your own time and at your own pace, you're going to gently open your eyes while staying with your breath. So I'm going to ask you, how do you feel?
I definitely feel calm, but it was funny, like, the idea, like not controlling my breath was kind of hard.
Mhm.
When you're like paying attention, you're like, and I'm like, I don't breathe very deeply, kind of thing. Like I'm judging my breath. I'm just like, why am I judging my breath right now? Like, kind of thing. And just being like, no, no, it's okay. I can breathe the way I breathe, like, kind of thing. Like, but it's funny, like, because like so often when you're like, oh, take a deep breath, So that was funny. But I feel calm, was hearing birds and there's airplanes. Yeah.
Was there at any time any to-do lists that came up in your head or things that you need to do?
Mm, only a little bit. Yeah.
Okay.
Um, I mean, yeah, I would say that does happen pretty often when I do any kind of meditation. Like, oh, when am I going to do this? And like, oh, don't forget that I have this. Yeah.
And what meditation helps you to do is to stop listening to that. And that's your nervous system just trying to, because we hold so much stuff in our heads instead of putting it on technology, like we're supposed to offload it. And, it's our intelligence. Like, it's like, okay, I want to serve you. These are things that you're saying that are precedent. So let me bring it up, bring it up, bring it up, where it can feel very overwhelming.
Hmm.
Recognize your breath. Kudos to you that you see that you're shallow breathing. So that means a lot of times you're probably in a little bit of a hypervigilance, a little bit of fear, a little bit of anxiety,
Hmm.
just always waiting for that shoe to fall off, trying to make the right decision, trying to make commitments. So I was going, like other meditations, what I do is really learn to bring that breath down into your belly
Hmm.
and bring oxygen to all your cells in your body. So the reason why I did it this way is that people can start to see, like, oh, I'm shallow breathing. Don't try to control it. Just observe what you're like, what goes on, so that you can then recognize when you're going into shallow breathing. That gives you an indication. I'm kind of activated. Why am I not able to do these deep breaths? What am I feeling, or what sensations are coming up?
Hmm.
So the nervous system is our programming, like say like a computer system, and it commands all of our senses. And so that's why I mentioned, like, oh, your hearing probably heard more things that you usually don't hear. Your scent can heighten also. You can start smelling things that you don't. Your taste, when you're breathing in, there's things that can come into your mouth that usually you don't recognize. Touch also. And also now energetically, your nervous system is energy. So it
Hmm.
is always like a Wi-Fi signal, trying to gauge what is in the vicinity, or like a radar. What's in here to detect danger. Because the one function your nervous system has is don't die. It's the
Okay.
one function it has. Don't die, because that's what your body is running off of, is
Yeah.
your nervous. So, and that's what you're experiencing life through, is your nervous system and your senses. And so, in that, what happens when you've been younger, there's things that got shaped in your nervous system that then, instead of helping you, it imprisons you. So rather than being able to feel your vulnerability, it starts to create a prison of you being separated from your vulnerability, because it deems, well, these were big emotions that you didn't know how to feel, or people told you not to feel. So you're not going to feel that, because literally it feels like a threat in your body.
Hmm.
So, like when people say, I try to honor my truth or understand my truth, yet I don't even know how to articulate that. Well, it's because you haven't been connected to your vulnerability in a long time. Psychologically, there are things that we create as an identity. It is not intentional. It is just the way things are shaped in the nervous system, and it always wants to protect you. So say, for instance, your default is to get angry all the time. Well, that's the bodyguard of shame and sadness and fear. Yet if you haven't been able to explore those things, those emotions, anger is always going to come up as a defense until you take the time and the opportunity and the moments to say, I'm going to face you now. What am I actually feeling? And ride those waves, because we all know when we're angry, there's all this energy and this like, oh, I can't, and I just want to break something or yell, or like you want to offload that energy, which it's a very powerful energy.
Mm-hmm.
Yet it's an energy that you can now start using for your benefit, not just being dragged by it. So the nervous system is like your computer system of how you relate to the world. And depending on your childhood and your experiences, it's going to be unique for you. There's a lot of things that are similar that happen, yet the way that we experience life is very unique to ourselves. Like we're having a conversation right now. I'm perceiving it one way, you're perceiving it another way. And a lot of times we don't take a moment to ask, well, what's your perception? We just kind of mind read and think, I know what you're thinking. I know what you're feeling, which you may have some context to it, yet not the depths of it, because we all have a different way of experiencing life. We're all neurodivergent. Like, I know that's a big word too, and only certain people are neurodivergent. It's like we're all neurodivergent. We all see the world in a different way, and some require other tools than others. And so when you can start to understand your biology, understand like, why do I do this or why do I do that? And bring curiosity into your body. I understand nervous system seems really big, and people are like, well, that's for the neurologist and that's for the medical system. And it's like, well, spoiler alert, you've been driving in this vehicle your whole existence. It's not for the elite. It's not for a certain class. It's not for a certain people that earn a certain kind of money or academic. This is your own biology.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, unfortunately, we have not been led to into the self, into understanding ourselves, into seeing how we're shaped. A lot of sometimes our quirkiness, we've been told that it's wrong, rather than inquire, why is the quirkiness there and how can we use it? We've been taught to be polished and primed and look a certain way to be in society, which then fragments us, because there's certain parts that we're like, you can't come out to play with these people. So I got to bury you out here somewhere. And we splinter ourselves into holes with an H. And then if people can realize, like, all of a sudden you're trying to get this career and you get the career, yet each time you get, this raise, it's still not enough. And you just keep going and going and going and going until there's burnout. Well, it's this hole that's like a black hole that can't be filled. You're trying to fill something rather than integrate to become whole with a W. So that shadow work that people talk about are these parts of you that you don't want to come out and play or even know how to acknowledge, because people, we live in a world that's very judgmental and does a lot of punishing. And in our primal brain, we need tribe. We need a sense of belonging. We like this in being individual and be independent. We don't do that as humans. We need each other to be able to evolve. And so if there's a part of your personality that you haven't had a space to really inquire about it, you just keep it down. Yet that thing starts to hijack your behavior, and you wonder, like, why did I do that? Like, I shouldn't have, like, and then you question afterwards, where it's like, well, this part that you aren't validating knows how to hijack.
Mhm.
And so it's like really making sense of yourself and being in a space that there may be some things that are really challenging to look at. Like you may have to look at some parts where you've harmed some other people that you've just kind of disassociated, and you
Mhm.
you had to, like, to protect your psyche and to protect. Yet the work is to bring that in and look at it and question it. And anytime it comes to surface, it's like not get out my house. It's okay, you're here. What is the message? But you're not going to control, you know, the steering wheel of the car. And another wrong thing that people think about a nervous system, and they think, well, a healthy nervous system means I'm always peaceful and I'm just zen and I won't have to do anything in the world. And it's like, I knew that is not a healthy nervous system. That's a nervous system that's just on the brake all the time, where you need a nervous system that can do gas pedal of brake and gas, brake and gas, brake and gas. And the way to do that is to be able to understand what are the wounds that are inside my nervous system. And when I say wounds, what are the experiences that had me separate from myself,
Mhm.
that had me push away certain parts of myself that I don't even know how to relate with? Like, yeah, we can have quirkiness, it and not present it to certain people, but internally you can still have that in there and be like, this just isn't the right time to do this right now.
Sure.
um how- However, don't dismiss it and be like, oh, that's not me anymore,
Mhm.
because there is no not me anymore. It just gets integration and maturity that I don't need to, ring the alarm in the whole system of like, watch me, watch me, watch me, or do this, do this. It's like being the observer of all these things that are going on. So, I know it's, it can be challenging to explain it because it's such an invisible thing that is inside you. And that's why I brought the meditation that people can start seeing their senses. Because, when people say breathe and they're like, I'm already doing that. Like, why are you telling me to breathe? It's like, no, bring your awareness to your breath,
Mhm.
because autonomically you have to breathe or you die.
Sure.
That's the function of the nervous system, to breathe. Like it knows, like, we got to do this. Yeah, we haven't been taught. Bring the awareness of that and be the observer of it, and then start taking control of how you can oxygenate and use the energy of your nervous system. That's why breath work is so um, big right now, because it's the simple tool that you can use that you always have access to.
Mhm.
Yet it's challenging to take that moment and be like, wait, I got to breathe. Like take 5 minutes, and like we only did what, 2 minutes, maybe 2 minutes and a half of a
Mhm.
meditation. For some, it may have felt really long. Yet when you can start anchoring into your breath, that's that portal that they talk about in spirituality, that I can lead you to the door, but I can't go through it with you. It's like that's your portal. It's going into your biology. And then once you can deactivate the nervous system, it's like a force field that gets deactivated. Then you can go into the infinite, into the space of nothing and everything, where people call God, Allah, divine, universe, whatever name you call that higher source, higher power. And that's
Mhm.
why I called my company Lift OneSelf. It was lift the ego. And what the ego is your defense mechanisms that protect you from being in that vulnerability and that worth. And then once you can lift that and like deactivate your defense mechanisms, you can feel that oneself, feel that connection, that everything is connected and you're a part of it. You're not separate from it.
Mhm.
You don't have to try and control it because it's already being controlled. I know it's a
Yeah.
lot of apps, so I hope I've given people some curiosity to, again, like you said at the beginning, do some research for themselves. Yet be curious with your own biology. Start to name out, and it really, like, what healing is safety for the nervous system, radical honesty to allow yourself to face yourself and reveal everything about yourself, and then feeling your emotions, because emotions are messengers. But it doesn't mean like all the messages are truth.
Mm-hmm.
It's just now you get to understand, like, oh, anytime I have to go to the doctor's office, my brain goes bonkers because it's scared to go see whatever could be there. So that information already lets you know, oh, this thing's going to start activating. So
Mm-hmm.
then, okay, yeah, you're walking to the doctor. What are you feeling? Step by step, what are you feeling? Okay, breathe. Yeah, there might be information, yet you have the capacity to go through this. And
Yeah.
it's little by little. Yeah, once you can acknowledge it and face it, it's a different beast than, oh, let me find out all the things that I can avoid it. No, it's about facing your experiences.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times we've been, you know, another thing with the nervous system is like pain is one of its teachers. Like when we had to learn how to ride a bike and we fell off, nervous system learned really quick what's balance. Let's not have that again yet. And then we can have an endurance of pain. Like the body can go through a lot. I'm living proof that the body can go through a lot and still adjust. Yet we're so anti-pain that anything, even psychologically, we're like adverse and no, no, don't bring it to me. Where it's like, well, pain is a teacher. Like it's embedded with life, and that you're going to have to go through the experiences. Yeah, what we do is we try to avoid it.
Mm-hmm.
And pain brings you truth. Yet what we do is we run away from pain, gather all this suffering to come right back to the same location where you got to go through the pain, but then you have all this suffering trying to go through this door.
Mm-hmm.
Yet what you got to remember is let go and go through the pain.
Yeah.
And it sounds very simple. And I'm not trying to make anybody feel inferior or that I'm belittling their experience, or, some can say easier said than done. I'm like, I'm living experience. I almost died 10 years ago. I had lesions in my brain and my cerebellum. I completely ruptured my Achilles in 2021. I went through biopsies of getting muscles carved out of me of 2 inches without any freezing. I gave birth to twins. I had childhood trauma, sexual trauma, emotional neglect, all these different things. So I'm lived experience. So when people are like, how do you know all this knowledge? Because I have lived experience. So I'm here to say yes, I get it. My mind still does it sometimes when I have to go into a new kind of dimension. I call it Donkey Kong. There's these levels that you have to go through, and it's like I see that other level. Like I don't think I can go there, and then you go to the next level, and a wheelbarrow hits you, or Donkey Kong's there to stomp on you.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like, okay, my mind will be like, oh, easier said than done. Yet when you start using your own words to yourself, you can't argue with yourself. You cannot argue against your own experiences.
Mm-hmm.
Where when somebody else says it, you're like, yeah, easier said than done. Like you're not living my life. You don't know. And you're absolutely correct. I am not living your life. I am not in your environment. All I want to be able to show you is to empower you to use your biology to your best ability and be able to shift that perception and really understand what they're talking about, the laws of attraction and manifesting,
Mm-hmm.
and really, but also take out this toxic positivity that everything's going to go your way. And that's
Yeah.
not what the law of attraction is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think yeah, people definitely don't really understand the law of attraction really. It's just like, well, if I just say these affirmations or, like everything will turn out the way that I have it in my head, the perfect situation kind of thing. And it's like, yeah, that's not exactly how it works.
There is true, like I say, that's why feeling your emotions allows your vessel to be empty. Because if you're not feeling your emotions, it's just stored in the body and it's just looping, and there's no space for anything new to come in. There's no space for you to receive. Like a lot of people don't realize, law of attraction is allowing yourself to receive. Yet, if you are in hypervigilant and in fight or flight, It's better to give than receive because you're in a position of power rather than vulnerability. Yet the law of attraction is allowing yourself to receive and being able to understand that there are possibilities that I'm not even aware of that are possible for me. Yet I have to do that work. I have to feel good about myself. I have to believe in myself. I have to trust myself. I have to love myself. I have to face myself when these big emotions and allow myself to have a capacity. I need to give myself some space to take care of myself. I have to recognize I have needs. And that's the work. And so then when you can, then you're like, I envision something. So how would that feel like? What would that look like for me? And then you start working your nervous system. Oh, this is what you want? Okay, I'm going to find the things that would create that and change your behavior and change the way the energy and change the dynamic of things. Like, I know some people will say it's woo woo. Yet, has there ever been a time where you thought of something or you thought of somebody and all of a sudden they appeared? And you're like, what the heck is this? Or there's something you're going through and somebody presents something of the topic for you, and you're like, what the and most times it's like, oh, that was a coincidence. We shrug it off instead of really acknowledging the power you have.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I don't have like I definitely haven't been like raised as a religious person, but I had this experience where I was like, okay, I can't like deny that like something is happening in the universe kind of thing. And I haven't really talked about it with that many people, but my grandpa had dementia and died from it. And I was carrying around a lot of guilt for not doing enough for him at the end of his towards the end of his life, you know? And one morning I'm just like crying in the shower. I'm just like bawling. And I was like, I have to like figure out how to forgive myself. And so I was like, if I see a red classic car, you know, from like the 1950s, then that's my sign to forgive myself. And I'm on the bus, and this woman comes, like, sits in front of me, and she's just like saying something about like God and the universe, and you know, and like like you're like I'm like thinking like, what's you crazy person, you know, why are you going on about this, you know, and some you know things, and then you know she's gone, and I look over out the window of the bus, and there's this shiny red car parked next to a Thai restaurant, this classic car, and it's beautiful and it's like shining in the sun, and I'm just like, oh my God, that was my son, you know? And I was just like, how can I not believe that like there's something in like something in the universe bigger than me, you know, and that we're all connected and like all this stuff. And you know, and I kind of forgot about it. Um During the day, you know, you just get like caught up in your, you know, the stress of your day and everything. And then I'm on my way back home on the bus, and I see the same car in a different place. And I was just like, okay, I, this is what I need. Like, now I know. Now I'm a believer, like, of something. I don't know what it is, something. And it was just like such this profound thing. And like, for like the last, you know, it's probably been like 5 years now since that happened. And it's just like, my life has felt very different since then, you know, of like having a purpose and feeling connected, and you know, yeah. Um, we just have to like put some trust out there and things. Yeah.
Well, it's also too, you asked.
Yeah.
Most times people don't ask. And the signs will come for you to have the nudges for you to really go where you need to go. And if you believe on, energy doesn't die, it transforms. So I know people are like, oh, death is final. It's like, no, it's the other side of love. And if you're open, you can communicate with your ancestors and communicate with the souls and spirits and energy. And, you know, at times if it's too overwhelming, they won't be able to communicate because they don't want to like mess up your whole psyche and belief system and everything else. Yet you ask, okay, give me this. And look, it's like, yeah, just forgive yourself. You did the best that you could with what you had. And
Mhm.
now use the lesson for moving forward. And from what I hear, you did that. Like, when did you start working with the dementia patients, before or after your grandfather?
After.
Yeah, you used the lived lesson
Mhm.
and in a type of, let me repair some of this pain and let me better understand this disease and see. And it's very, you know, unfortunately, we can be really critical on ourselves when it's, you know, people that are close to us that we should have done so much more. And we're not taking in consideration how subjective and how painful that is, and how it demands a lot of energy. Like dementia on top, like right away, demands a lot of energy because you have to play a lot of games with them.
Mhm.
Um, where when you're doing that all the time with your own family members and you knew them as a certain personality, now they're this other personality and you want them to be the other personality because this one is just too much work. Like it's just
Mhm.
too much. And yeah, when you go and volunteer for a stranger, you didn't know their personality before. So you're just seeing them the way it is right there. So
Mhm.
I think there's lacking that grace and really understanding what compassionate fatigue can be and how subjective it can be when you're in those experiences. Because we do the best that we can with our family members, yet also having to acknowledge, like, when we know that somebody's going to transition or they've been deteriorated by a disease, it's really difficult and challenging to adjust to the new norm of what they're experiencing because you want what was there before. And then if you don't have a healthy relationship with death, that activates all kinds of things inside you, like a lot. And I've, you know, because I almost died, I had a different experience with death and went through that and have a different relationship with it. And so when people are like, how can you be so calm? And it's like, well, I've done my work and it doesn't mean it doesn't get activated. Like my mother's still here. And when she does some stuff, I'm like, oh boy, okay, is this my moment where I'm gonna go through this and go through the transition, or I want to protect her and everything else. So, you know, have grace for yourself.
Mhm.
And I'm thankful that you shared this story because it's going to impact. I have many stories like that. Yet it's nice to hear when somebody else says it because then it opens up the space of like, oh, this isn't woo-woo, and there's something like divinely connecting everything. Like look at how liquids came together and built your body that knows how to breathe, that knows how to run your blood, knows how to do pressures, knows how to regulate in certain temperatures, knows what to do with certain foods and not with certain, like all that stuff. That's just like not even like it's just not even a drop in the ocean of what all these things that come together of an intelligence that unfortunately man has created, that man is the only thing that creates everything and there's nothing else in this universe where it's like, well, if there was a slight change in planets or stars, gravity would not be here right now on the earth. And things would be falling apart and there'd be all kinds of chaos and everything else. So and you know, it's creating your own definition of what that looks like. I get like religion, oh, my way and my way and my way. It's like, you know what? What does the divine feel like for me? And how do I stay connected in that? Because that's what spirituality is really going within yourself and really being connected with the energy and divinity and understanding that we're all connected to the trees, to the air, to the earth, to the planets, all of it. And I understand that that can feel too big, Yet, if you allow yourself to go in there, there's a lot more space to breathe in.
Hmm.
But thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you definitely are a safe a safe space, a safe person to share that kind of thing with. Because like some people would just be like, "Oh, what's wrong with you? You believe what?" So, yeah, thank you for letting me be able to share that.
And imagine that we've created a society that you wouldn't be able to explain that it gives you some soothing and some calm that I'm going to tell you, no, your experience is wrong. I'm going to make you want to fight and argue that, wait, I know what I asked, I know what I felt, and I know what I experienced, but I'm going to tell you, no, it's wrong.
Mhm.
Even though it's giving you some soothing and relaxation and changing your whole energetic field. No, 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 it's wrong. It's like, what are we creating in society? And that's just, yeah, that's not what I'm doing. I'm creating a space of non-judgment and that people can make sense of their own experiences, which can be challenging. Um, Yet the more that we can create these spaces, the more that we can explore in some territory that we thought was off limits and do not trespass, where it's like, no, you're allowed to go in those territories.
Mhm.
It's safe. It's safe to, go explore and do that self-discovery. And I'm honored that, you know, I'm always honored when people say that they feel safety in my presence. Because for so many years, I know what it felt like to feel unsafe. And I still feel it around certain people, that I cannot express my full self.
Mhm.
Um, Yet it's like recognizing more and more like you have a gift for other people. So, you know, provide that safe space so people can, come back into their biology and trust themselves.
Definitely.
So it's an honor.
Yeah. We're we're I don't know what your time limit is, so I'm like I don't know if there's
111.
huh?
Do you see it's 111?
Oh, my time is 10:11, but I like that it's 111.
Okay. Yeah, it's 111 for me. Sorry.
Oh, wonderful. Um, yeah. So I do you have a little bit more time? Okay.
I like
Um,
20 minutes.
okay. Okay, we can definitely wrap up easily in that time. Um, this has been such a wonderful conversation. I'm just like I I'm like so like overjoyed with it, and I just wish it could be longer, kind of thing, because it's just like there's so much to talk about.
Sure.
I always like to ask my guests, how do you define fun?
Play, whatever play looks like for you. And it's fun is unstructured. You could have it structured if you need to, like, because you don't know how to do play. Yet once you understand what play is, it just heightens all of your senses and imagination and curiosity, that
Mhm.
you're not inhibited with thinking it needs to look a certain way. Like you can have fun washing the dishes if you gear yourself into it. Yet you have to have a practice to do that. Like, all of a sudden put some music on, dance and, find some ways. Yet some things are very mundane and difficult. Yet play is the biggest thing to create fun for yourself. And fun can be anywhere.
Mhm.
You could be
Yeah,
in a business meeting and be singing a song or singing all kinds of things and it's fun, but the atmosphere on the outside is pretty serious.
yeah. Well, yeah, it's really all down to like mindset. Is like how can you make anything fun? How can you just be playful in your day-to-day existence? Yeah.
Yeah. I had to learn that with the twins well, now they're teenagers, so it's just not working. But uh, when they were younger, if there were things that I wanted to do, it was timing. who can get there faster, who can get this because they were adrenaline. And it's like, go, 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 go. So, okay, mom, count me down. Let me go do this. And so it was like the time and they got excitement out of it. And it was like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, let's find the things that work for them and get this engaged and have some laughter. And yeah, but it's finding what works for you and giving yourself permission to have fun. You are the
Yeah.
one to give yourself permission. You don't have to be doing all kinds of activities or do all kinds of things to give yourself permission to have fun.
Mm-hmm.
Take out the reward system for yourself.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like I ask, so many people don't have enough fun. And, I kind of like try to ask people, like, well, why aren't you having enough fun? And, like sometimes it's like, people will say things that are like external, like money and things like that. And it's like, then it's like, well, the question is like, what makes you think that you have to spend money to have fun, kind of thing. So then it's like, is there anything going on inside of you where you feeling like you can't give yourself permission to have fun without spending money? Like, that kind of thing. Yeah.
But we've been, there's a real thing of capitalism and marketing that really plays on the indoctrination of people. And yeah, without money, then we can't have fun and not really going back to the basic of things. But there is like a psychological impact of the marketing and stuff. So when people are like, oh, I don't have money, and it's like, okay, well, that's an indication that you're in lack and scarcity. Your nervous system is in lack and scarcity. I don't think I have the capabilities of doing this for myself. I need money to generate this. And we've been led that since we've been young. It's the whole reason why go get a job. You need money to make the world go round and, have some fun and create choices. Money does create choices. Money does create some great fun. There's
Yeah.
no denying that. It's recognizing that money isn't the source of fun. It's how you define it.
Yeah. Well, like think about all the things that like the things that are free that are so fun and so liberating, just like make you feel so good. Dancing is free. Singing is free. Like there's, like doing art is like at least low, doesn't cost a lot to do art. Like there's so many things that like are just like really base things that are just so human that don't cost a lot of money. And so like it's just like just take the time to like do some of those things if like you're feeling like you're not having enough fun. It doesn't mean that you have to like travel across the world to be able to have fun, you know?
Like I tell people too, when it's raining, I'm like, go outside and splash in some puddles. Remember what it is to be a kid, and I'll see some aversion with some people, and they're like, I am not getting wet or dirty. I'm like, okay, well, it's you life is messy, and you're missing out on the exhilaration of engaging with the now and the as is. And if you see like little children and how exciting it is just to splash in puddles. And then when some of them will engage, you're like, I never realized how much of a release that was. I'm like, go dance in the rain. Go rage in the rain. Go feel your sadness and let it out and just let yourself feel. And then once you let out that rage and sadness, then there becomes at times this other energy that comes that you can just laugh at it all. It might look neurotic, yet that's where you're helping to release all this somatic tension that's going on in your body and trying to make sense of your own experience. Oh, well, my my children, I have a 29-year-old and then the twins are 14. They really don't like going out with their mother because their mother will dance anywhere. And they're like, you're embarrassing me. Or I'll start singing and they're like, you're embarrassing me. Stop doing that. And I'm like, other people are laughing and joining and everything else. I get that that doesn't feel good for you. Well, then just create some separation from your mom because I am, yeah, enjoying life. And I understand, like, I've had the gift of death. So I understand that time is a tool, not a toy. And today could be your last day. And would it be more better to have some fun in it? than to worry and be stressful and rigid.
Mhm.
I know that sounds a little harsh maybe to some people, or might sound a little too dark. Yet that's what the reality is. We really don't know when we're going to die.
Mhm.
Like you could have the healthiest person drop down with a heart attack or have a crackhead live till they're 100.
Yeah.
Logically, it doesn't make sense of the way the world tells us how life is going to be in a trajectory and what health looks like and yada, yada, yada. Yet there's something a little bit more to that of like, what is the life force and what is the purpose of that life that we have no control over?
Yeah.
The time is a tool, not a toy. And it's to really give yourself permission to be silly, be childlike. That's why I have NatNat as my nickname. I know like Natalie is my name. Uh, my friend's son couldn't pronounce the L's when he was younger, so he would say NatNat, and I just kept it. And even when I started Lift OneSelf, one of my friends was like, "Well, I think maybe why your business isn't growing because of the NatNat, and I think you need to go back to Natalie." And I thought about it, and I was like, you know what? No, NatNat is what I am bringing because it's the childlike.
Mm.
It's the childlike that I want people to lighten up. Let your imagination, your curiosity come and play. And like you said, the high vibration, put some music on and let your body have a somatic release. We do somatic releases with dancing
Mhm.
because your nervous system needs movement. When it's too stagnant for a while, things start looping and everything else. And it's like, wait, I need some movement for that creativity, for those emotions, for that energy, for things to be processed.
Mhm.
And it
Well, it's
doesn't
kind
mean
of
you have
like,
to,
oh, go ahead.
no, no, go.
Oh, I was gonna say it's kind of like, like a deer, will after like running and having like this huge boost of adrenaline, like sometimes you'll see them they'll shake. You just have to like let it out.
Mhm.
It's
Exactly.
natural. Yeah.
Yes. And again, what move and I say movement because I know people are like exercise very adverse. I get adverse with the word exercise also. So
Sure.
it's like, okay, movement. What does movement look like for you? And some people think, oh, I have to go to the gym and do all this. And it's like, no, take a walk, walk up and down your stairs, walk in on standstill. The easiest and funnest way is dancing. Do you know how exerting dancing is if you're really doing some dancing?
Hmm.
And you put some low tempo and you put some high tempo and you follow to the beat? Well, you'll get some real good cardio while having some excitement and fun at your own pace. Yet make it into what you need to make it look like. Yet I really highly suggest walking. And you don't have to do speed walking. You can just take a light stroll and start appreciating the flowers and the grass and the grubs and the squirrels and the ants and the chaos. Like there's beauty in it all of being fascinated. Like without this, that wouldn't work, and without that, that wouldn't work. Yet I don't really like, I still don't understand the meaning of mosquitoes. I don't
Oh,
know why mosquitoes exist and what they do to contribute to
no.
the ecosystem. Yet they have a purpose because they're here. So yet
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know what you do for us.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, for maybe for other animals, it's needed. For humans, boy, you can bring diseases and pain and just frustration. So,
Yeah.
yeah, if you look at it, like everything has its place. Like if we didn't have ants, the earth would fall down.
Hmm.
But it's all these little curious, even just looking up at the sky. I don't know how many people did this as children and just lay in the grass and just look up at the sky. Like I do that, like I do so many childlike things that I can understand where my children now that they're teenagers, when they were younger, they like joined along.
Sure.
Yet like I'll just lie in my front yard on the like and look up at the sky. And I know people will drive by and they're like, what the heck? But other people are like, I should do that too. And look at how many images and stories you can create and the fascination of like, oh, I never noticed that before. These are all things that will engage your fun too.
Hmm. Definitely. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, like finding like childlike whimsy and like curiosity, I think is like one of the most vital like things to keep, and like awe, like being able to like connect to like just like wow, the earth is amazing. There's so much like interesting things, and just like feeling like a child for the your whole life. Like I I I wish I want that for more people. I want more people to like reconnect to
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
And you're doing that with this podcast.
yeah.
You're
I'm
doing
trying to.
you're doing it.
Yeah.
Um, and you're having conversations with people to engage. Like I know my topic is pretty big, yet it's all in play. It's really understanding your nervous system so that you can allow yourself to have fun and really understand the benefit of like your nervous system wants to have fun.
Yeah, your nervous
And
system doesn't want to be all like tight. Holding
nope,
on.
doesn't feel good.
No.
And so then you don't even, once you start offloading and you start feeling, you're like, I never knew I could be like this in my body. I didn't know I could show up like this in the spaces around other people
Mhm.
and recognize like nervous systems read off of other nervous systems. So when you go into a space and all of a sudden, like, ooh, it feels overwhelming. Like for me, when I go into Costco and it's crazy, I'm like, oh, okay. Because other nervous systems are reading off of each other.
Mhm.
One anxious person, that's ripple fire in the whole place. So like these things really actually like we're feeling bodies that think.
Mhm.
So when, when people are like, "Oh, I'm overwhelmed," or I go into a space and it just changed my mood or my mindset changed, like it's because nervous systems are reading other ones. And so it's always trying to read safety also. And if you're not safe with your own emotions, then when other people have like that's why parents, when their children start crying or feeling something and they shut them down, it's because you haven't had a space to feel that for yourself. So it's like, don't open my junk drawer. I have it a junk drawer for a reason. Do not open that thing. I don't want these things coming out. So just leave it alone. So that's the reason why a lot of parents will shut down the children.
Sure.
Because like I haven't even held space for myself for that stuff. No, 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 no.
Mhm.
What are you doing?
Yeah. Well, yeah, like the more that you like kind of are doing this work and you're like connecting with other people also, like you find so many people that are just like so disconnected from their body and like what's happening, that it's like scary for them because it's like, no, I've pushed this away for so long. I can't look now. It's overflowing.
Yeah. I'm called a disruptor. And most times when people are around me, they get into a vulnerability and then they release tears. And so when some people they're like, I know, not today, Nat, just don't come hear me. I don't. And I'm like, but the satisfaction from it. They're like, um, and I took that personally for a long time. Yet now I understand the benefit of it. And it sucks at times because it's like, we all want to be liked. We all want to have a sense of belonging. And we would like it that people feel good. And it's like, well, this is good. You just haven't allowed yourself to have a proper relationship with it.
Mhm.
But yeah, a lot of people are disconnected from their body. And the reason why is because they've been harmed in their body. They don't trust their body.
Mhm.
So they're in their head. Yeah, coming back into the body, it feels like a threat. It feels like a
Yeah.
big monster, and I can't hug that monster. Are you? It's like the Wizard of Oz, and that's what I've been saying in the past. It's that big voice that was so scary. And the more you face it, the more you face it, then you're like, what is behind this big voice? And you see it's just this little man that's there. It's just this inner child. It's just this entity that is protecting itself because it's been harmed in society, in the environments, in the experiences, and also harmed by yourself. Because the way we treat ourselves, that's the big doozy that we have to face also. Where it's like, I didn't even know how to be gentle or compassionate with myself because I didn't know how to feel these emotions. And you're just repeating the language that other people bestowed on you also,
Yeah, for sure.
if it makes sense.
Yeah, it does, at least for me, just because I've been, I've been in the waves, so I
And
get it. I get what you're saying. Yeah. Anyway, I know you gotta run. I just want to say thank you again. This has been an absolute delightful hour and a half of my day. Where can the audience find you?
they can find me at liftoneself.com, LIFTONESELF.com. And on there, they can do a 15-minute discovery call for free to see if my services can work for them. And then we can coordinate, what sessions would look like. My sessions are meditation. So, like I just brought you into a meditation, it goes more deeper. And then it becomes that space of radical honesty. And like you showed a little bit of sharing your grandfather's experience and asking for forgiveness and what that looked like to make sense. Because what I do is I add that safety for that nervous system to feel open to be honest and, reveal things to themselves. I'm also on social media under Lift OneSelf, so they can find me on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook. And I'm currently creating a course content so I can, provide a group online, and I'm also going to engage in person to create a group because community really helps with the healing too, so that we can create spaces of safety and sacredness for each other. And for your listeners, I created a 10-minute meditation so they can go to liftoneself.com/gift, GIFT. And they'll just have to opt in, and then they'll have a 10-minute meditation where I'll guide them and let them, be more curious about their biology.
Nice. Thank you. You are amazing, and I really enjoyed our conversation, and thank you so much for being on.
Thank you so much for having me. And like I said, I really truly mean it. You are creating a space where people can engage with their fun. And so at any time where you feel like who's listening, all it takes is one in a million, because that one person ripples out to other people. And always remember you are that one person.
Thank you.
So sometimes we do the things that we need the most, and you're doing and you're discovering and having great conversation while creating content for other people to explore their inner world, which can feel daunting. So thank you for the space that you are creating. And for the listeners and for yourself, please remember to be kind to yourself. You matter.
Yeah. Have a good rest of your day.
You too. Be playful.
Thank you.
It's been very enjoyable.